Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nikki. This is my channel Woolen Wags, where I talk all about knitting and wool in general. And we have little Miss Wags who down here just decided to get out a bone and start chewing it. So if you hear it, that's why. But yes, welcome to the channel. Like I said, I talk about knitting, mostly podcasts, sometimes weekly vlogs, and today is going to be a project vlog. And I'm very excited. We are doing a project vlog on my 2025 Christmas sweater. I've decided to make the snow sweater by Pernille Larson, who is the designer behind Knitting for Olive. I think she designs most of their knitting patterns. I'm so excited. I have seen this sweater since I started knitting. I think it came out in 2023, maybe, possibly. Don't quote me on that. But either way, it's been in my sights for a while, and I'm very excited to have it done or just to have it in general. So we're going to start off with a yarn haul. So I did go with just the suggested yarn on this sweater, which is a yarn that I know and love. It's probably my favorite yarn. No, it absolutely is my favorite yarn. I am doing the classic combination of Knitting for Olive Merino and soft silk mohair. I did order this right at the time that everything kind of shut down for the tariffs. I do usually order my Knitting for Olive directly from Knitting for Olive and just pay for the shipping. But because of all the tariff situation, I did go ahead and order from Wool & Co. This was my third time ordering from them. I'm pretty sure I ordered my, what is that called? Lane Cloud yarn from them before. So I ordered from them. It is a little bit more expensive coming from them than the Knitting for Olive's direct website. But I think that is because, they import it for their store and they have to mark it up to make a profit. Either way, that's not what we're talking about. But we can talk about their customer service because I did order this sweater's quantity of yarn, which includes 3 different colors. And right after I ordered it, I did get an email from Wool & Co. just letting me know that one of their yarns they were going to have to order, I guess, from Knitting for Olive, and that there was going to be about, like, I think they estimated a 2-month delay, and that, what basically, like, what do you want to do? So I sat on it for a little while, and then I did end up emailing them saying, like, can you just go ahead and send me what you have and then send me whatever yarn was on back order after, just so I could get started on the sweater. And I told them, I was like, I will pay for double shipping, like, because I understand, you know, things. But she emailed right back. I need to find her name, but she emailed right back and was like, nope, we're going to ship it all to you. We'll split the shipment up, no extra cost to you. And then it turned out to be there's only one ball of yarn missing, which is the merino in the color cream. I got the soft silk mohair. So I have my entire sweater's quantity except for the merino and cream. And it has been, I did order this, or at least it shipped on September 6th. So it has been a while now. I am going to reach back out just to see if they have an update. If they don't, or if they think it may be longer than kind of what I'm wanting, I do have some scraps of putty in the merino color that I could hold with this. I don't really want to darken it too much because I don't want the contrast of the color work to get messed up. So I've also thought about ordering it just from another yarn store. I know that La Merciere in Seattle carries Knitting for Olive, and I have ordered it from them before. So that's an option. But all that to say, the Wool & Co. customer service was amazing. And yeah, so we have the yarn haul here. I did the exact same colors and the exact combination that the pattern suggested. So I have Midnight as my main color, held with Midnight and soft silk mohair. The tree color is Dusty Olive, which I love. I'm kind of thinking I need an entire sweater in this color. And then the snow is just in cream. I'm really excited. A few notes. I have taken some notes so far just because I've done not a complete read through, but a quick skim of the pattern. This will be my first colorwork sweater, although it is what I would consider baby colorwork. It's not full blown, like, all over yoke colorwork or an all over colorwork in general sweater. It is just on the sleeves. The construction is a new to me construction. It's a circular yoke. I have not knit any type of circular yoke. And weirdly enough, it's knit from the top down, and then you knit the sleeves bottom up separately, and then you graft them with what I'm guessing is like Kitchener stitch. You graft them onto like the armholes. I'm not quite sure why. Like, especially if it's a top down, I don't understand why you don't just pick up the stitches and then knit the chart the other way, if that makes sense. So stay tuned because that may be a modification that I make, but some modifications that I already know I'm going to make. I'm either going to knit the size large or extra large. That's probably going to be, I need to do some more measurements, and that'll probably be a game time decision, to be honest. Modification that I know without a doubt that I'm going to do is it has you cast on for the collar, knit the collar, fold it down, and then start the yoke all as like one piece. And I am not going to do that because I have watched enough knitting podcasts to know that all that pressure stretches out that collar. And I do already have elastic from other sweaters. I could just throw elastic in there, but I don't mind picking up stitches. So my plan is that I'm just going to cast on for the yoke, knit the yoke, and then add the collar on and fold it afterwards. From what I've read on just Reddit, Google, whatever, that does offer more structure to the overall piece. And like I said, I really don't mind that, going back and doing that. I'm just really nervous. I've never done any type of bottom up anything, like a bottom up garment or bottom up sleeves. My proportions are usually pretty different than pattern suggestions. I never pay a single bit of attention for how long it tells me to knit anything in a pattern. I always just try on a million times and stop where I want to stop because I am shorter. I'm like 5'3", and my limbs aren't as long. And on top of that, I do really like bracelet length garments. With all of that, it's like a recipe for disaster for knitting a sleeve specifically, cuff up, bottom up, whatever. That makes me really nervous. So I think I might see when I get there how hard it would be to modify the pattern. I have said this before, but I still consider myself pretty new to knitting. I think this is my first like serious full year of being a knitter, and I have not modified a pattern this much yet. So we'll see if I am brave enough to take that on. Oh yes, and last year for 2024, I knit a vest. It was the Lana vest. I'm pretty positive. I'll insert a picture somewhere. But I called this my Christmas vest for last year because I did finish it in December. And I did knit it too big, but I still love it. It will be pulled out this winter. It also is quite crazy to think about wearing something called the snow sweater at the beach here in Southern California, but needless to say, excuse me. Needless to say, I'm excited for it. I'm ready. Oh, and the total. I want to find the total for how much I spent on this sweater. Pause. Okay, perfect. So I have the total is 187.83. That was after, well, it was actually free shipping, but after taxes and everything. So very expensive sweater, but I'm excited, and I think it'll be a piece that I can wear every single Christmas. So stay tuned. The next clip should be casting on. So, like you saw, we managed to get cast on, and I actually casted on the right number of stitches the very first time. So, that's always exciting. It always looks so scary that first row because you have to like spread the stitches out so far. I did want to mention, I know I never talked about my gauge and my gauge swatch, and that is because I'm a lazy knitter and don't yet believe in the gauge swatching situation. I have gauge swatched this yarn, Knitting for Olive, merino, and soft silk mohair in this putty color for my champagne cardigan. And this honestly this was before I knew anything about holding strands together, gauge. Like, this is one of my first bigger projects, and you would think that this would have taught me a lesson because I did gauge and did not realize I was supposed to hold two strands of the merino and the soft silk mohair together. So I did that. I held one with this gauge swatch, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so far off. And then realized I had to hold two. So I do have another gauge swatch holding two and the soft silk mohair. The gauge swatch for this is on 4.5mm needles, and I got 20 stitches, and for the snow sweater you are using 4mm needles and you need 21 stitches. So I feel like I'm close enough that I do not need to be gauge swatching. Honestly though, like I don't know if you see my cutie little tags here. I have started making a little gauge swatch wall. That's why I keep looking over here. And I did this with the last sweater that I knit, and I didn't knit a gauge swatch for it because I had already knit a sweater in the exact same yarn before. But then I wanted a swatch, so I just knit a swatch after just to add to my wall. And I may do the exact same thing with this. I may knit a swatch, maybe even like with the color work of the like tree with the snow, just to add to my gauge swatch corkboard situation. I've gotten casted on. The next step in the pattern is to just do some increases before starting the short rows. And it's 7:30 right now on a Sunday night. I'm definitely not going to get through all the short rows tonight, but I think I want to at least get one row done with the increases so that if I want to pick it up tomorrow, I can just start straight into the short rows. My last project I finished was a fingering weight t-shirt on 3mm needles. And then all I've been working on since then is socks on, sock needles, 2.25. So casting on with this 4mm needle and this long cord, like I feel like I'm like wearing clown shoes basically. It feels so good on my hands, and it's honestly a reminder that I need to swap it up more. Like if I'm knitting a fingering weight tee, maybe I shouldn't also be working on socks. So I'm hoping that also means that this flies by, because I would love to either I don't want to put any like hard set like rules or intentions, but I do typically decorate November 1st. It would be really cool to wear it on November 1st, but that would be like 2 weeks, and I'm not going to do that to myself. No. Um no. Probably check in with you guys maybe after I get all the short rows done. I feel like that would be like the next major check-in for the pattern. All right, I'll see you guys at the next check-in. All right, hello, welcome to the update. It is currently October 16th, and I feel like we have made really good progress. Let me show you guys. I don't know if it's just me, just because this is my first circular yoke construction, but it looks scary. This hole is scary. It's just crazy. The circular yoke has been a journey. Right now, I can confidently say I am not enjoying it. All of the increases are make one lefts, which are significantly more annoying than make one rights. So And I don't know if every circular yoke is like that. So that's been fun. The neckline just looks humongous. And since I did the modification where I'm going back to do the collar, I have looked and I will be picking up like a 1-to-1 ratio. Like I'll pick up every single stitch to do the collar. So my plan is to knit one round without starting the ribbing just to help it like cinch in and then start the ribbing, and I'm hoping that'll be enough to make it a tighter collar. It is folded over, so I could still put in the elastic. That's not an issue. I really like, strong strong collars, but like fitted collars. I like the way that looks. Looks more clean and polished to me. Also, the color has been different than I thought it would be. I thought it would be more like the color that I'm wearing, like a true navy, and it's so black leaning to me. Like I just feel like it's very like charcoal black. But I don't mind it, and I do think it'll still look really good with the other colors. Obviously, it'll look just like the sample photos because that's the exact colors I use. So I just have a few rounds of increases to go. And then I'll get to split for sleeves and body, which I am excited for because I could do the math, but this is just a lot of stitches, and I still have, I think, 2 to 3 increase rounds where I increase, I think, like 30 something stitches. So far, so good. I'm happy with the progress I've made. I'm not in any type of rush. Like I would love to have it done to put up my Christmas tree. I know I said this before, but that's not important. That's not that important. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. My plan is to add the collar either when I get to the point where I split for sleeves or when I run out of this yarn, whichever comes first. I like having the collar on like as soon as, not as soon as I can, but just early because it will make this look a little less scary. So yeah, like I said, it's October 16th. It's my grandmother's birthday. Happy birthday, Nana. I'm about to go to work, hopefully get in a few rounds on my break tonight. And I think that's about it. I'll update you guys at our next milestone. So wish me luck. Hello, guys. So, welcome to the next update. It has been an extremely long time since I've given you a talking update, and I've made a lot of progress. So, it's currently November 2nd. So, if if I'm remembering correctly, I think the last time I sat down and talked with you guys was October 16th. So, I genuinely think it's been like 15 days. So, we have made a lot of progress on our sweater. I don't even think I had put on the collar the last time I talked to you guys. So, we're going to start there. I have added our folded over 1-by-1 collar. I did make a modification on the collar. I did the original mod that we talked about where I didn't start the sweater with the collar. I started with the yoke and then went back and picked up stitches for the collar. Then when I did that, I did another modification where I added in 2 rows right in the middle of the collar of double knitting just to make sure that it folds and sits really nicely. And then I knit it down and it looks very nice, very clean. The only thing is the same thing happened when I did another folded over collar on my Olga sweater. I think that when I knit it down, I do it too tightly. So it is extremely hard to get on and off of my head. It is possible. It is just really, really hard. But because of that, when it sits on my neck, it is very tight and neat looking. I do think it will stretch out with blocking, which it needs it. So that is good, especially because of the mohair sitting really tightly on my neck is not gonna it's not gonna work for me. Yeah, so right now it's really tight. My Olga did stretch out, so I have faith that this one will stretch out as well. And I have made a ton of progress on the body. So let me just hold it up for you guys really quick. I know it's kind of hard to see, but yes, I have just been knitting stockinette for like 10 days, and it's still like so small and portable that I can just throw it in my bag and I take it to work and I'll knit a few rounds here and there, which is yes, which I guess I should address it. The last clip I think you guys saw was Santa Claus knitting on my snow sweater. And that is because I dressed up as Santa Claus for Halloween. I don't even remember how I got this idea, but I was like looking through Halloween costumes for work and I was like, I think it would be hilarious if I dressed up as Santa Claus. And I didn't want to like just be like me in a Santa suit. I wanted to be unrecognizable Santa, which that did last about 30 seconds, just long enough for a picture to be taken because it was extremely hard to work in a beard and a wig and white gloves and everything. But it was really fun. Everybody enjoyed it at work. I think at least. Wore that for 2 days. Our Halloween celebration competition, just because of the way my work is set up, we could dress up for 3 days. And I was like, I'm not doing all 3 days. So I think most of my coworkers saw it on the first 2 days. And I was like, okay, I'm done. But it was really fun. I did buy a lady a matching Santa costume. So I'll show you guys pictures of that. She's under the blanket here. That's why I'm like petting my blanket. But we just got back from our morning walk. She's eating her breakfast. There's a slight chill here in San Diego right now. I think it's like 63. Oh, it's also the weekend of daylight savings, which sucks. I looked and sunset is at like legitimately 5 o'clock. So it's just really depressing, but it's okay. Back to the sweater. Like I said, I've just been doing a ton of stockinette on the body. I did try it on for the first time yesterday and I did some measurements as well. I put in a progress keeper just last night at literally the last row I was on because today I think I have about 3 centimeters left on the body before I start the body ribbing. So that's very exciting. I think I'm going to get that done today, at least the stockinette on the body. And I would love to start the body ribbing because I think I would really like to get this entire sweater done in 2 weeks. I think I'm to the point where I can kind of give myself a deadline, and I think that would be really nice, especially considering the once I start the sleeves, there's pros and cons with the sleeves because of the color work, the start at the start of the sleeves, because it is knit from cuff up. They will be a little fiddly then, but after that, it's going to be very small and portable. So I should be able to take those to work and get those done quickly. I did go ahead and look ahead. It has you do a provisional cast on the cuff. So I did get my needle ready. I think I threw it over here. Yeah, I got my needles ready and I thought I may just like sit down today while I'm like stationary for a while and go ahead and get one of the sleeves casted on. That way I don't have that slump of like, okay, you have to cast on again because that's always the hardest part for me. I think I have a total of 5 centimeters left on the body. It might be inches. I'm gonna need to look back. I'm not quite sure because I don't know how long the ribbing is. For some reason, I'm thinking it was 2 centimeters, but that's like really small. So yeah, I need to look back on that. But I know I have 3 centimeters left on the length of the body. And then I have however long the ribbing is. So I feel pretty confident I can get most of that done today. Hopefully get casted on for the sleeve today. You do a provisional cast on, I guess, because then you go back and do an I-cord finish, do the color work, then you're in stockinette, and then you have to do the whole Kitchener stitch situation, which I haven't even looked into yet. I briefly looked at the directions on the actual pattern and it had you doing some crazy stuff. I'm not sure everything it wants me to do, but we're ignoring that for now. I'm feeling pretty confident that I can get this done in 2 weeks. And I think I have decided to wait to decorate until I have it done. I'm usually a November 1st decorating type of person, but I'm not in the spirit just yet. I think I just need to like clean up the house a good bit before I bring a lot of decorations out because I don't want it to be overwhelming, but I do need to get it started because I have a very busy work month and then I will be gone for 2 weeks in December, so I won't get to like love them or enjoy them. So I actually may like dump all my plans and decorate today, especially because next weekend I'm working. Yeah, next week is a very busy weekend for me. So who knows? You may see clips of me decorating today. Hello and welcome back. It's the same day. It is Sunday, November 2nd. As you saw, I decided to throw every single plan that I had out and I decorated. Hi, you want to say hi? No? Okay. Yes, so I decorated, and then right after, I started thinking of some other things that I wanted to add to my decor around the house. So I went shopping and went to dinner or lunch with a friend. So today has been a wash, but knitting wise. But I realized kind of in my last talking clip that my centimeters, inches, everything was all messed up, which is the story of my life. So I thought that I needed 2 centimeters of ribbing, which is not right. I needed 2 inches of ribbing. And so I had estimated that I should knit 3 more centimeters of the body before I started the ribbing. And long story short, I knit on it for a little while and I just tried it on. And I estimated if I started the ribbing right now and had 2 centimeters of ribbing, I think it'll be perfect. It may end up being a little bit long if it does block aggressively, like if it blocks a lot longer. But in my experience, it typically doesn't, especially knitting for olive, doesn't really get length. It kind of gets width. So I think I'm good. I think it'll be perfect to just go ahead and start now. I do, as you can tell, I love pretty much all of my clothing oversized, but width wise, not necessarily lengthwise. So hopefully it works for me. It's still on the tried on tubing, or I call it that because somebody on YouTube calls it that, but it's on barber cord until I swap out my needles. So I'm about to swap out my needles now. I'm so obsessed with my Christmas decorations. I'm so in the spirit now. I'm ready to get this Christmas sweater done because I'm just going to continue the spirit. I just made plans to both travel back home for Christmas and have a friend from back home come and visit me. So I'm so excited. I've just been thinking all day of everything that we're going to do together while she's here. And I think that's really going to help me be in the Christmas spirit, showing someone around my new town. It's new. I've been here for almost 2 years now. That is the update for tonight. I'm about to swap these needles out and hopefully get a few rows of ribbing done tonight. And we'll just keep going from here. So I'll see you guys in the next update. And I may have to sit on the floor for all of my future updates because how could you not want this as your background? I'll see you guys soon. Okay, hello. I just recorded that whole clip and didn't press record, so that's always great for me. And I guess while we're talking about mistakes, we can go ahead and get into the update of the body of this sweater. So I think the last time we talked, it was about a week ago. It's currently November 9th, which is just terrible for my deadline news. I think you could probably tell in that clip I was a little bit confused about the math. And unfortunately, I think I had the math right, did the clip and kind of confused myself. So I just stopped and started knitting the ribbing after that clip and went ahead, did the whole 2 inches of the 1x1 ribbing and bound all of the stitches off, which was a lot, and tried it on, and it is too short. This is story of my life, honestly. I knit everything too short because I'm impatient. I get impatient. I can knit this whole thing, and then for some reason with the body specifically, not even the sleeves, I just get impatient. So I will be having to add length. My plan currently is to just knit the sleeves, and when I'm done, assess kind of how much yarn that I have left. It is, the sweater's held with mohair, so I think I'm going to have to do the trick where you put it in the freezer to kind of pull everything out. I don't know what the trick is specifically. I've just heard people talk about the freezer, so I'm going to have to look that up and hopefully can salvage some of this yarn because I don't know that I'll have a ton left. If I were to just like cut the ribbing off and add more, I don't know that I will have enough. So we're just going to have to see. Going to have to play with that. I'm just going to have to add probably an inch on the body. It's fine. I am committed to doing that because I have big plans for this sweater. I have a lot of opportunities to wear it this year, a lot of Christmassy events. I want it to be a good sweater for years to come. So I'm going to make it right. That being said, I did decide to go ahead and just start the sleeves because I need to get them done so I can assess how much yarn that I'll have left. And I did decide to do the modification on the sleeves. I found one person's kind of notes that she did. I was going through almost everybody's notes on Ravelry that's made this sweater, and there were so many people that did modify it. Specifically, this one person, they left detailed notes on the whole like steps that she took to modify it to make sure that she is knitting the sleeve at an appropriate length. So I went ahead and did that, and I got started. I have tried it on, and thankfully it at least is fitting me the way I want it to, the sleeve situation. I have a few inches, or not inches. See, this is where I get messed up, but I have a few centimeters left before I start my first chart, and I'm excited. I'll probably try to at least get to the point where I'm about to start the colorwork motif tonight, and hopefully it will be fast moving from there. Tomorrow I have a little bit of a longer day at work just because I have a meeting, but I'm off all day on Tuesday for Veterans Day. I am really bummed about the body. I do this all the time. Hopefully I will continue to learn, and let's all fingers crossed that it is not too difficult to rip this back. Alright guys, welcome to the finale, I guess. The sweater is all done. It is November 30th, and I took this off the blocking mats just a few nights ago. I am so happy that it is done. And I mean, it's done. Like I said, it's wash and blocked. All the ends are weaved in. I'm just so happy that it is done. I'm also happy that I kind of met one of my mini goals that I tried to set for myself, but this is done before December. I am creeping up on the deadline, but I will say it has been dried has been dried for a few or it has been dry for a few days. Sorry. Um and it just took me a while to want to put on the sweater and film. It is very warm. The mohair, I do have a shirt on underneath it, but the mohair just it makes it such a warm, like cozy sweater. And especially on the sleeves where you are doing like 3-stranded color work, it's like 3 layers thick because it is all stranded. Let me show you guys a floats. Yeah, floats reveal. I know it does look a lot like kind of crazy. And I also caught floats with very little rhyme or reason. And it was different every single row, but it was my first time doing major color work. So let's talk about I'm not even quite sure when the last time I updated you guys was. It was very hard to film during a lot of the process of this because when I am at all like super zoned in and focused or just overwhelmed in the slightest, the last thing I want to do is put a camera on myself. So I didn't film a ton of the color work process. I got the sleeves done and then I did go back and rip out the body. I actually didn't have to do any kind of freezing or anything with this mohair. I was able to just, it unraveled pretty easily. I did do for both my, or not my sleeves, for my sleeves, I did the I cord bind off, but for the body, I did Judy's Magic or Judy's Surprisingly Stretchy Cast Off, the half version. I still cut it, honestly, just because I I just wasn't thinking. I cut the body just right above the cast off edge, and it took a while to get to where I was on a strand that hadn't been cut, but after that it unraveled really easily. I unraveled all of the previous ribbing and then just knit and then added my new ribbing. And with the new version, I did decide to do the split hem. I'm really glad that I did that because this material, I think it's just because it's a thinner weight or it's a lighter weight because it's fingering in a mohair or light fingering in a mohair actually. It just like sticks to me a little bit more than I'm used to. I think because I've mainly knit with like more rustic and heavier weight wools that I feel like it kind of clings in places that I might not want it to. So the added addition or the addition of the split hem was very helpful. I like the way it fits. I like where it sits. The sleeves, I am a bracelet length sleeve type girl. I usually end all my sleeves right here. So this is definitely a little bit, it was definitely a jump scare. When I very first tried this on directly off the blocking mats, I was not feeling great. I had a migraine for like 2 days, honestly. And I tried it on and I was like, I hate everything about this sweater. But now that I've put my hair up, put on a little bit of makeup, put on actual clothes and tried it on, and I don't feel like absolute crud, I don't hate it. So I'm really happy with that. I'm excited. My color work tension leaves room for improvement for sure, especially in these trees. I don't know if you can see it. It's definitely a little wonky in some spots. That is par for the course. I mean, it's my very first color work sweater, so and it's still baby color work. These trees turned out a lot better. A lot better. And I didn't pin them or anything when I blocked them. I kind of just let them do what they were going to do because I just didn't know how a circular yoke was going to block. So I'm really happy to have this in my knitted wardrobe. I have so many events. I'm going out of town next weekend to a tree lighting going to Catalina Island, and I will wear it the entire time I'm there. I have just so many just fun Christmassy things planned, and I'm so excited to show it off. I think that's about it, guys. I mean, we talked about all the modifications. Oh, I did end up with one entire ball of mohair left over. It had you order one extra ball of the main color midnight mohair just because the yardage was shorter than the merino, I guess. And yeah, I had an entire ball left over, so I have no idea what I'm going to do with that, which is kind of annoying, but I would much rather that than have ran out towards the end. I already have plans for some of the scraps for the white and the green, so that makes me a little bit happy. But all in all, I'm so excited to have this done. I'm so excited to wear this, and I hope you guys enjoyed coming along the ride with me. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.